This is live stream, so I fear that people talk all sorts of crazy shit and not realizing that what I had, all the R, the T, I was gonna finish the E. This was all live streamed. I have that indonation mole, whatever the fuck diabetes goes with having moles and fucking inherited shit that can't seem to catch a break. I have I teeth. I was 2 years at an apartment where this be off of this basically not being able to like know if how else to explain it wasn't bad hygiene, but or is it something that COVID took place and it wasn't COVID, but figured it was something that just have to deal with people talking that your teeth are bad and but I eat is basically home prepared meals and I don't know understand if I get the short end of the stick by if you want to eat out somewhere you can probably do that, but figured it's not all bad. But I was live streamed. I can't. I mean, I can like as long as you put something on paper. I still look about the same from past ago. Like a couple of years back, went to the Royals games before COVID, like 2015, all the way up until 2019, off and on. I wasn't anybody else, and I just hear people say all sorts of crazy shit about one person's channel, and the consistency never changes. Like the sort of just because I shave my head is because it's hot. In the heat waves, you just have to go. I would sweat more. I would be more sort of unsure that if summertime hits, you would shave your head just because you shave your head in that, and you have to know that they can't go forth and say it's somebody else when the other person doesn't have Ortega as a surplus, marital, or any other crazy shit. They're just psycho. I just sit there, like I said, I have a mole inside my face, and that photograph that I took back then was from the other house that I had set that posters and stuff I still kept, and I kept pretty much everything that I've ever had via game gaming magazines and stuff issued under the name that I had Ortega on GamePro back then. All that's on my Facebook, and they can't go forth and say some crazy shit about landscaper that makes all sorts of resentful remarks off people and tries to basically, if you ever been to a hospital for anything, he'll try to make a notion that whatever reason, if it's a case of going there for whatever reason, it's because of this none of the business, and they try to state that it wasn't enough in at the time in my system to say that this guy was this, that, and that, and did something when I didn't do anything. It was basically all sort of for just the sake of bashing someone. And I demonstrated that, live streamed it. If I put fuck down and whoever the fuck person who sort of taunted me or told me something, that's the only way that they can get me in there. And I only put down the musician because they had a soundboard surrogate of a feed I heard back when I had a trial and had photos of said thing had documentations of the courtroom. Nobody that badmouthed me was there. And I look thinner than the guys that talk a bunch of psychopathic shit. How the fuck is it stolen if it has my Ortega name? I have receipts beyond belief of everything I've ever purchased from GameStop with my last name Ortega. That's on my Facebook profile. Even if they're faded, they still have my last name Ortega. They can't go forth and be sort of fucking rude to a person that has all the proof. And if they were only ones that are watching this, the people that hate me, then what the fuck is with that? It is something that they don't write down, hateful remarks. But outside of this, it's something that if I have like, I don't want to say teeth issues, but figured if I need teeth on my wisdom, I kept beyond the doubt I had dental, but figured I have to pay for sort of like a checkup. I don't want my teeth to be fucked with because I don't like people putting my hand, like putting anything in my mouth other than what I have. Like this basically demonstrated eating fried foods and stuff. And I just know that I did that as something sort of like if I demonstrated this drawing things. I drawed a cat that we had 3 cats, and I drawed all 3 of them at one point in time. This basically not posting the tabby cat drawing because it wasn't really detailed, and I back then I was just sort of in and out of going through the different things that I had done, demonstrated stuff on the Facebook profile that was basically nowhere realizing that I'm the one that in fact sketched it. I don't have a soundboard, even though this computer, I would say, doesn't have the abilities to produce soundboards other than camera feed and stuff that like has like the PlayStation camera had the ability to record you when you play video games. The only reason why I got that was because I thought I could build an audience and basically get somewhere with it. I had a YouTube channel back in 2010, and I know I made in 2015, but deleted it off as I didn't have views like I did this. Even though I don't get views in general, this basically discussions of stuff that once had and was basically the same guy from basically then on from the high school years and had photographs, evidence of stuff from years back. I know I had New York, Jersey, but it was from Kansas City. Now I gotta go explanation of stuff like this. It just seems raggedy that the person has to go through remarks and stuff, and I'm not gonna go through why you get jerseys from different states and this, that, and the other back then, and go forth from it. It's not really sort of like a self-explanatory if you had somebody that you don't know how to explain it be it other than what you put on Twitter and stuff. Stuff is real. O R the T. I was gonna put a T there with the and then the E, the G, the A. If I was in that case, I wouldn't be able to stramulary words together in piece of and do the font in so many different ways. I never heard of such people trying to bash a person off just to basically apparently looks in that, and I'm skinnier than the psychopathic people that talk all sorts of crazy shit. Just take whatever the fuck for granted when that wasn't the case. I don't know what that noise is. I think it's somebody trying to meow like a cat. If I had this since 2015, we moved in 2019 for 2 years. Somebody felt sort of obligated at one point to get in contact with people to get me resources. Basically, beyond a doubt, somebody felt sorry for me or had resources in terms of that stuff that I was basically in a bind without realizing that for 2 years at an apartment, I didn't do anything for 2 years to anybody, say anything to anybody. I was minding my own business in a place where it was basically contracted for 2 years to be in a place. The only reason why we broke the lease was because of the mold on the shower in the apartment building, on the bathroom part inside the facility was basically ill informed that it was run down at the point where just the basically being there got us sick. I didn't know at the time. I had case management take me to one appointment prior up to leading my parents take me to the other appointment to get eye surgery done on both eyes, and it really was real, and I don't know how else to put it. I really did sketch it. I'm not as redundant as it seems. They basically try to say it's somebody else when they don't have the last name Ortega. I've demonstrated so many times over, and I pointed out things that only I would be able to point out in terms of stuff that they wouldn't be sort of cruel to a person to be able to treat somebody without realizing that they're a human being and have emotions. Can't jail up with somebody with false accusations and stuff. They don't show video evidence of the person going irate or basically going off on them for stuff they did prior or whatever the fuck else to believe them. Somebody trying to state false accusations based upon somebody and make them out to be scumbag when they were just trying to basically run away themselves without realizing that it's not that easy. It's basically whatever money I did have, I didn't have luxury of using it on things that I basically wanted in terms of stuff that was given to me by the government for working 3 years for a grant making at the Royals organization back then during high school years. It did have all that, and it was real, had all the proof, everything. I just had the same polo that had the Royals game I had in the photographs. I'd probably wear this if I ever get probably attention from the media. Like if I get interviewed, I'd probably have this on, and nobody else would wear it because I wouldn't say it's dingy now, but let's basically react to things that if they think you don't have money for clothes or money for this, that, and the other, but figured it wasn't really as sort of like beneficiary to flaunt all the clothes you have if you're just walking about. Somebody might recognize you. Like if you say that you're with somebody, like if I was with my mom or dad or Evan at the one point in time, I wouldn't want to be recognized on like this from this because people will think you're a local and then talk all sorts of crazy shit without realizing what the fuck they're saying. Hurts a person. I'm not bashing them, and I supported people via the covers and songs and stuff that I figured I didn't give them money, but I supported them by watching and subscribing and basically took time out exercising, and it prevented me from being any iller than what I am, being diabetes. Being a glaucoma suspect ties in diabetes, fucks with your whole entire anatomy. And I just figured right now, parents do things more than what I do, like because they have jobs and they work and they have things that they just basically do without me. Like I can go with them, but I don't feel comfortable out being in the public because I put myself out there on YouTube and all the social medias. I demonstrated sketching things from the time 2015 all the way up to now, and even in 2010 had videos of me illustrating that I edited in such a way that I was the only one with the light dark complectness, his arms, feet, and hands, and I was the only one that went through what I went through. And people that can't log into it. Oh, we're just gonna try to pass it off as somebody else. I can't do that because it's plagiarism. Somebody else's like work that they try to put into words. If they say basically off someone else saying the same thing, then that's plagiarism. If they say that it was stolen, it has my last name Ortega, and why the fuck would they draw something when I'm demonstrating it many times over, even on live streams and stuff? They can't go forth now and say it's somebody else. I had weird fucking surgeries when I was a teenager. I didn't get ran by anybody, but I'm just trying to say, like, it was something that the fucking doctors themselves fucking give you bad advice. Like I said, malpractice, and Andrew works for the fucking hospital system now since the beginning of time. He worked at Truman with his mom for a short time, and they had the same thing that I had gotten because they couldn't really rely on people. And I know he didn't want me telling anybody that, but that is something that the dude had apparently had a job history. His mom passed, and he didn't have anybody to rely on, so he was really independent, and I had to depend on people and stuff. And I had knew him since the beginning of time. Like I had knew him during middle school and high school. I had him around, had him at my grandma's house, had him at my mom's house, but never really told anybody because every time I tell somebody I knew somebody, they always intervene and try to say don't hang around him, this, that, and the other, and they'll just do that and not really realizing stuff. They just make remarks and act like they're too good for you in terms of stuff that they still want to be a part of something in terms of stuff that they just don't see that it says my last name Ortega. I know I'm rambling on, and back before COVID, even before that was even a thing, they said I was like babbling on about shit that happened in the past and move on. And I had all the proof of stuff. They can't go forth and say it's somebody else. I might have clothes, but I was saying like it's plain Jane. It's not like it has like designs with like Donkey Kong or any of Nintendo. Like I did have those shirts and that, but it was just relevantly up to whatever they saw at the point in time. I like plain like shirts and stuff because apparently it runs out, like the warranty runs out of stuff. Like say if you had bought a Marvel shirt from like 2018 that you barely wear, and eventually that wears out and the actors move on and they replace the actors with somebody else. So the Iron Man and Captain America, they're like no longer like represented. I think that was a chocobo, but I thought it was somebody impersonating a fucking cat because we had cats. When I played Gran Turismo, I heard a fucking wrestling sound and I didn't understand if it was part of the game or soundboard. And I know they did something back then, and that I only have so much of it now. That stuff that I had on a device, devices only have so much longevity, and I had not a USB port, but it on a USB port, but I had stuff saved on an SD card. That if they, I don't know, just I don't know why I listen to cover songs, and I wasn't really bashing them. I'm not asking them for money. I would ask them to see if they could help me out in terms of stuff that I could be like a pitch idea for a song, or had ideas for things, but made melodies off stuff that if you hear stuff, the words sort of like you can like rearrange the words in terms of stuff on songs off people that you know that hated you or talked shit or had people talk shit about you without realizing you couldn't do anything about it. That's the fucked up world we live in. No, I just figured that's why I said the whole world was fucked up. I had jury summons from time and time again, and I just figured if the jury summons had, like if I had been excused so many years pass and they give you another one, and then this time, like, why would they want me to even appear if I know I can draw stuff, sure, but fucking just sitting there having to be in a place where you probably figure all sorts of stuff. Like, you just don't want to be in a place where it doesn't seem like it's a friendly environment, or have an environment that's hostile towards you in terms of something that I don't see how in a courtroom case off somebody that you don't know that you have to go and take aside and see what's there. And if you can get the person sort of like off the hook, and then I don't know how to explain. Like, I've seen a movie with Pauly Shore at one time with the dog, and he has to stay there, but that was just a movie. I'm like a movie buff. I've seen movies from past and present, 90s all the way up until early 2000s, like The Perfect Score with the guy made PlayStation game. That's sort of how that was with the Kaufman Foundation. Wanted to make me a game designer, but I just wrote grants and it never really fulfilled the promise. And I had something in terms of stuff promised to me, but I never really badmouth other than seeing them trample and being weird with the mascots and stuff from 2015. And COVID hit, and I didn't want to be bothered with going anywhere because I had got ill myself. Nobody else had an orange and yellow hand and foot. And then soon thereafter, discovered diabetes can do that if you're pre-diabetic. You can get sort of calluses and stuff with your toes and fingers and stuff. And CNN said something about COVID having the ability to make person diabetic after they had it. So I don't know if it was inherited or this stuff that spooks me fuck out. But how the fuck do they have somebody that could be a COVID victim out to have to go to a million trials over something that has my last name, that they can't really get you on petty shit that seems weird enough to have an article written about you during high school by a guy that don't even like you, that had an article written out about being in a Royals organization back when you were a teenager that only follows you up after high school. And somebody realized that it was real, that I was a part of it, and they know that it wasn't something that was just given to you in terms of stuff. It was basically the ability to have a 3.0 grade point average, to be able to even go be a part of that, to be able to do the stuff that they now take for granted. Like, you have only so many times where you can repeat yourself. Like, I sounded like a broken record to Andrew because he was around my age. And he was in the videos with me up until a certain amount of time where he basically had no time for somebody who was trying to make it big on YouTube without realizing they're trying to now delete me off, not YouTube themselves, because they wrote so many hours and didn't have copyright guideline strikes or any of that stuff that goes along with having a channel. And I'm not sitting there like at an apartment for 2 years with anyone other than my parents and my cousin Andrew that helped us move there. And then after 2 years was up because of the stuff that we all got ill in an apartment building, it wasn't really known that I would have ended up in the hospital for swelling of the jaw. They don't understand all those elements and stuff. They can't just say this guy did this, that, and another when I wasn't really doing anything wrong. And I remember assuming somebody mouthed is they had like ways of knowing what you like had like at the apartment for 2 years. If they had the ability to watch you via secret cameras, like I think there's here, but I don't know if there is or isn't, but there was at one point. But there was a Glade plugin that I realized was a part of security system that they can't go forth and fuck around with it anymore because I don't think I like that notion of being watched taking showers and taking shits in a place where if it is cameraed and filmed, they're also watching other people take shits and showers. So just knowing the notion of it's eerie as fuck to have something always watching you. Not gonna get booked when you had people yelling and screaming down below, firing off firearms and shit, threatening you off a person. That's how ghetto this shit really is. And the thing picked up what they're saying. If I could go back and log out of this and point that out, if I had timestamps like saying that this person down there said this, that, and the other, kept on and on and on. And it wasn't really the case. It didn't do anything towards anybody and have anything to do with anyone's demise. And it was all just some fucking this weird, just them being weird with you. I still look young. I'm not somebody else. I don't have like 50 people fucking like acting like one person through the whole fucking list of fucking like videos. Like it's no way fucking I don't know. I only know a few people that don't even want to be on fucking film because they go get harassed and shit. Andrew at one point didn't want to be filmed, but I was able to talk with him still. And I just understand that the dude realizes the shit's unfair, but what can he do? He's only one dude. He got destroyed on the stick too, but works for a hospital system even prior, before COVID and after it. I'm surprised. Like, that the shit actually is weird enough. It is really what it is, and this can't go forth and say there's a billion people inside one dude that videotapes himself fucking playing video games, and they said because he played violent video games, you became violent like that. And that wasn't really the case, and I'm not in anybody's face other than what I was basically blackmailing a person because they don't like them. I can't say it's not me when I fucking demonstrated, have fucking video evidence, even forwarded to people that were obligated in one point in time but don't work there anymore as case management. They told me they couldn't do anything towards me, or they would fucking have them be able to get thrown in there without realizing if they do something crazy. But they're ones that lip in the shit, and they got it on film lipping the shit. I might have said gay shit to people, but I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't get rammed in high school. It was misdiagnosis for cancer. At the time, I was paper thin and had my head shaped similar to this. Had photograph evidence of it. Had documentations of it. But that dude's day will come when they fucking have the no way of knowing that how many times it would be discriminatory against folks and think that shit's cute and funny until one day I didn't laughing through my 1,000 videos streams only on eating that one meal because of what they said via the live stream, a Marvel movie on Scooby Doo, this shit, and we played Final Fantasy VII in an apartment that reminded me of fucking Scooby Doo. That's to just sit there and have to hear people being weird with you. And there's nothing in my bloodstream other than a staph infection from being diabetic. I didn't have any diseases or anything via anything else. Like, it'd be different if, like, I had gotten tested back then and I didn't have anything wrong, and I just figured. I didn't play any music in the background and watching somebody live stream about chocobos and shit. That I thought it was somebody fucking playing around with me, meowing like a cat. I know that this rambling on to yourself like it isn't really normal. How come you talk to yourself? I didn't really talk to myself when I streamed. Like, it just is streaming just to basically demonstrate. Like, if you say, like, if you want to get a job as an editor and being able to edit off somebody else's videos, you can probably do that and get paid for it. Like, if you wanted to be like a video game journalist or something, like basically reviewing games for money at one point, probably still could do that. But I just didn't know that people would be discriminatory because they think all sorts of crazy shit with the photos. I still didn't have any ability to know that they wasn't photoshopped in any way or anything that if that was a notion, and it just wasn't the case. But it was fucking Polaroids. Like, it was Polaroids. They can't have no notion of knowing that when you take a photo from that, what it come out to be. And back then, there's stuff that you had rows of fucking film that had what was on it, and there was really nothing bad at the one point in time. Like, say if you stayed with your house and your family during high school, had proof of that, and the person doesn't want you to be acknowledged in the way that people will make a mockery out of a person and make them a locale off stuff that was destroyed, like the restaurant, or off a soundboard fee. Like, they said they were gonna give you a poison smoothie at the end of the shit. That's why I put a poison smoothie as a photo. That wasn't a poison smoothie, but I had a poison latte from a fucking Zona Rosa. I should have filmed the girl lip that crazy shit. My cousin that doesn't talk to me anymore because he had got COVID there on before after moving to Wichita. I don't talk with them anymore. I talk with Andrew, but I'm not gonna get him on film again. I know that I'm not gonna have anybody that will ridicule you one moment and then want to be with you the next and have you film with them. And why is the point of that if the person ridiculed you and tries to basically be discriminatory against you without realizing that I still look the fucking same from 2004. I don't have makeup on. If it was makeup, I had video in a pool, it would be smeared. I'm not gonna like apply makeup to my face without realizing that I don't know how to apply makeup on. I'm not like the newscasters that have $1 billion given to them mocking the person. I have the ability to have infinite makeup and shit, and I would have to put makeup on my entire fucking body. I don't know. I listen to cover bands because I didn't want to listen to basically the mainstream anymore because of what seemed like when I went to Comic Cons and stuff. Some of them were friendly to me, some of them weren't, and it has been between now and COVID may change their attitudes when they realize everybody that is in Hollywood does weird shit. If it was makeup, I don't know. I'd have to put makeup on my fucking hand through my fucking wrist. I show them basically in photographs and shit on social media. Like I didn't have a makeup kit. There's no way of me being able to go to a store and buy makeup and say, "Hey, this guy's putting on Avon makeup," and being like Edward Scissorhands, but fucking it is something that they can't go forth and fucking say that when it's not the case. It's just something that they do. That's the Hollywood people. They fucking troll them until they fucking commit suicide. Everyone's dying of COVID. I know if I say COVID on here, I had a staph infection. It's different from COVID. Staph infection is worse than fucking having COVID though, because either thing can kill you, and you still end up fucking ill afterwards. And anyone that was around you, if you like go to a mall and surrounding area of people that you don't know, and they say something to you, hey, apply this to your hand. It's something that will clear acne, and they do that without realizing who they were, what that cream was, and they got no way of knowing that me and Evan got either ill from fourth thing that it was either a tick bite, a scratch wound that had got ill from it, that or a coffee drink made by someone that mouthed off and didn't realize what the fuck they were saying. I recorded the outside of the place without realizing. We went around walking all over the place. I couldn't go forth. And hear people make a mockery out of you everywhere you fucking go. Back then. I swell up because I have swelling of the jaw and my wisdom teeth. I still have the wisdom tooth. I don't like people fucking putting their hands in my mouth. I don't like anything around my like neck or anything like that to have a fucking person do that. And I remember watching Metal Oculus or whatever the fuck, Metal Poc, whatever that shit on Cartoon Network saying that dentistries do weird shit to people. I just said the shit that stuck to me, and it's something about watching Final Destination with the gold fucking tooth, or the fucking goldfish and the tooth fucking being watching that shit back then. They watch that shit and you realize that this shit, does anyone fucking have? I already had gallbladder surgery 2018. 2005 I had weird psych surgery that fucking was your abdomen through all sorts of crazy shit. Realizing that I shouldn't have had it done back then. Didn't get raped by anybody. Then I had fucking glaucoma surgery in both eyes. All those fucking surgeries, that fucking was not fucking right to this person talking all sorts of creepy shit. They vent on this thing that thinking that somebody would care enough to say, hey, this isn't right, we're gonna give them resources. There's somebody that won't fucking troll you. And they still fucking troll you. If I wear muscle shirts that make me look thin and I really am like fucking kind of hefty, being tall person, and then some people, when I was younger, I was more sort of laid back. And my demeanor changed. Yeah, you're outgoing. You don't be outgoing if people fucking troll you and punk you, tell you a bunch of creepy shit. It's been 40 minutes and I didn't fart. It'd be different if I was like farting real loud, like in the video. Like it'd be different if, say, I was live streaming on PlayStation. Like if I just let one rip, like just fucking the loudest shit they ever heard. But I don't do that shit because I'm sane minded. It'd be funny. They just fucking have all the streamers that live stream to talk shit. They'd be farting in their live streams and burping and throwing up and. Just journal off. If you journal off and say it, all of us was sort of like therapy and journaling stuff in terms of stuff one person has to go through being diabetic after a plague and they said you would get diabetes if you had the plague. You're not going to become a zombie. Fuck, I don't know. I just playing those video games is like, I understand what they meant at St. Luke's, and they said that the nurse said they were concerned about you at one point and said you played violent video games, that you would make you violent like that. And I'm not really violent. I may be going off in terms of stuff that people say a bunch of creepy shit to me, and I have to deal with it. And I'm only one dude. Like, if you fucking had no idea, if you go blind the next day and don't have anybody to advocate for you, what the fuck do you do? Maybe shit out of luck. I know people that are blind, like Evan and Andrew, both wear glasses as a stigmatism, as something that they have something wrong with their visionary things too. And I don't know how the fuck Evan drove 8 different states all around. They really bad album, like you think, but he played the Rockstar game Grand Theft Auto, and it had Ortega, and that Sam Housing guy, the producer or whatever the fuck, has the authority to make all sort of mockery out of people via that game. I played Grand Theft Auto 4 on Xbox 360. I'll admit that, but on PlayStation 4, I didn't play that because I don't want to play something that is beyond fucked up. That's just a fucked up world we already live in. You want to play something that's very fucked up. That's why they said the blind video games that I played the Cyberpunk, but it was off robotic people. It wasn't real. Like, it was basically people that were augmented into robots, like Johnny Five or something, roaming around in a reboot sort of looking world with fucking diners and shit and TVs that fucking have like that shit in it. I can explain myself out of the situation, but if they do something funny, they can't go forth and give it off to somebody else and say this person never existed and do all that crazy shit, because that is sort of fucking humane and domain in sort of fucking ways that go forth. They say there's people that fucking dress up as drag queens that go further in terms of subscriber counts and fucking notoriety than who the fuck I ever am. And I'm not wearing makeup and shit, so they can't go forth and say, hey, this guy's applying makeup on somehow and fucking being able to live stream, but looks fucking totally different. They can't go forth and do that shit. Warner Brothers is weird. Remember them, like, somebody from there said they wouldn't have anything to part of me because they think I was fucking like homo or whatever the fucking. There's no video of me getting rammed, and there's no video of me with. I don't know how the fuck to explain it, but it's just weird. Like, you see Isaac Miller, the guy. I didn't watch CW other than watching Nikita back then, but earlier on, like back then, when they had shows on there that weren't DC related, Warner Brothers is fucking weird. I don't know how the fuck Evan put Mortal Kombat related remarks on his Facebook profile and then get jailed up saying he would cut somebody's head off and beat him with arms and shit. If I say anything negative, they're gonna throw a book at you. He had all sorts of crazy shit, and he don't get. I mean, nobody does anything to him. That just be me, but they all say a bunch of crazy shit. They don't get no risk, like no fucking. There's no consequences for their actions. I'm not on here live streaming Shenmue 3 saying fuck all of them, fuck them to hell, fuck them in the ass. I'm not doing that shit. I'm just using that example. Like, I'm just saying, like, if they think you're gay, then they fucking think that. But there's no video of me getting ran by anybody. I don't think I'm weird. I don't fucking care. I just get upset about shit that I have no control over, being sort of bamboozled fucking by people thinking that they're fucking cute and funny, saying a bunch of creepy shit. I'm not saying they're gonna catch COVID and die, but fucking this is weird, like how everything revolves around COVID now. I got ill from an illness off either for things that I could explain. I'm not in a public place saying, hey, there's a box of condoms. You're gonna get that. You know, do this and that. I'm not out in public domains saying that shit, so they can't fucking say I'm some sort of weirdo. But I'm not doing that shit. Then somebody that watches me for 46 minutes anyway, like I'm not getting undressed showing my dick, so I'm not like saying here's my wong out to all my viewers that I only get one view anyway. I'm not fucking doing that, so they can't say they don't like you and they're gonna just basically take you off when you die off YouTube, off all the social media networks. I don't say anything via live streams because it's very hard to play a video game with the button commands and prompts and go through it and explain only through like fucking parts where there's fucking animatronic puppets showing their ass and shit intense in that, because it happened in the original 98 release of Spyro the Dragon. And I forgot about that shit. I had to install 11 hours thing that I don't even want to go back and play, because if I live stream something like that, someone's gonna freak out and say, why did you do that shit? Why did you show some fucking Ninja Turtles ass on live stream? I just sit there and it's fucking, I should have just left it on that shit and just fucking left it on forever. The shit is more fucking weird than what the fuck I'm doing in terms of like demonstrating art and shit. I'm not drawing boobs and tits and saying I've seen people naked like the tattoo artist guy. That's creepy as fuck. That's connected to that KU said I could draw shit via somebody at KU gave him a reference to me. And then the dude talked a bunch of crazy shit. All those people don't like me, so be it, but I'm not fucking in their face about this shit. And it's not like I have fucking instigated them like they did me and just basically be weird with you. How the fuck do I still look young after 2004? That's the thing, that I exercise and shit, but my face gets swollen up and my body gets swollen up. Somebody sounds like the Incredible fucking Hulk, but figured, I don't know what the fuck they just say friendly shit 1 minute and then the next say something else and then go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That would fucking troll anybody to be all fucking insecure about your fucking self. I have to sit there and explain to people why they don't like you because of the shit that you hear about and the shit they say to you, and you sit there and fucking get trolled by people. I don't even want to go anywhere now because they said when I went back to the hospital, the one minute that they said that they would get me off the ability to get one hospital to get me off jury summons because I didn't want to go forth and be a part of somebody's murder trial, be a part of something that you may regret going because they might think something about you is off, or they might say a bunch of creepy shit to you, or I never really know what to expect in those places. They may be cool with you. Fuck, I don't know. It is they send you this shit, and they have to fucking have no way of knowing what to expect, and it's fucking far. I can't just magically appear there, so fucking just. I'm not drawing naked people on the fucking paper that was given to me by law firm. So as long as I don't draw naked people, I don't see nothing wrong with what the fuck I post on this shit. I didn't animate a fucking Ninja Turtle frog, whatever the fuck, mooning somebody. I didn't animate two dudes kissing each other on a tanker from 2008 game made by Hideo Kojima. If I made a video game, it'd be like fucking Portal or something like fucking that. The fucking mind games and shit. People play at me. I'd make something with puzzles and shit, but fucking, I don't know. Like, if they had Angry Birds, and if you wanted to make an opposite, the whole thing about the thing that I had with the Merle was like a fucking, like, battle boat, like, shank my tanker slip type of shit that, like, a mini game with fishes going in a pond, fucking just like Angry Birds, but in a fucking water setting. 51 minutes, I ain't fucking fart, so fucking I'm sane minded, and they can't say it's somebody else. If I was gay, I'd fucking have a rainbow painted in the fucking background. They put me in this fucking room because my sister used to be in this room back growing up in the 90s, and it didn't change. Only room that changed was the room that was the Ninja Turtle Klingons. I fucking this not anyone. I was gonna pull it off, and it's not really seen in the only a couple times and stuff. There's a pink trim with curtains and stuff. Magicians bowing down, saying "fuck you very much" and stuff for this. I don't know, this fucking. I don't have puppets. I'm not like having it like if it was sort of like demograph for kids when it wasn't. It was a rated T game originally Sega made that says all sorts of like alcoholic references, bars, gambling, fucking things that if I had basically labeled it off for not for kids and kids still watch, that's not my fault. Like if I'm drawing stuff demonstrating it, sure they can watch that, but I'm not like fucking like appearing with like alcoholic beverages, drinking up and fucking smoking and saying there's condoms in fucking public places and shit. Laughing hysterically, saying they're gonna do this and that, doing this and that, and not being able to basically troll people like that. People do worse for shit than whatever I can fucking do. I'm not fucking doing anything that bad. Barely 3 minutes and I didn't fucking fart or piss. I'm just saying that because when you're diabetic, you have to keep going to the restroom. And I thought it was a false like diagnosis of it because I was in shock. Because anyone would be in shock if they fucking have limbs changing colors and shit without realizing if it wasn't COVID, then what is it? Why did it get like that? Like the explanation of me explaining four things and not even being sure. Like you could say that the apartment and the bathroom had a leak in it. That leak, they didn't let me use the tub because my parents had their own bath. It was two bathrooms in a place for 2 years, and I wasn't using the tub. And it'd be different if I was using the tub and somebody else prior probably lived there at the apartment building for 2 years. The only reason why we broke the lease was because at the time we all got sick from being there. And it was pointless staying there. If we continued to stay there, we would no longer be living. I don't know, to just basically explain it in that way. I think I have YouTube going in the front room still. and that's why I hear the chocobo or somebody sounding like a cat in the background. I get like funny reactions to hearing shit. I can sit there and laugh hysterically about it, but they can't really. Oh, it's weird. And hear a soundboard go off. Everybody hears it, and they try to blame you because of the way that if they hear your voice, somebody can easily imitate your shit or your voice. They can't fucking imitate what you look like. If you hear something clear as day, people fucking making a mockery out of someone trying to make them a locale. The only reason why I shaved my head because it was too fucking warm to have long hair, and I don't look right with short hair. I look all fucking up, and that's why the reason why they get weirded out by me because with your head shaved, you don't look as good as with long hair. But they'll call you a fag if you had long hair. On my Google photos, there's nothing bad on it. Like it's not like I have photos of like taking shit and then taking a photograph of the shit and having a billion fucking photos of that. I know that Matt the Boxer used to show Evan a bunch of disgusting shit. I know that he wasn't smart enough to have it logged off on the. I know that shit's all on his weird shit. And they both did weird shit. I don't know how to describe it on YouTube. Dude has analogies next to a video of kids would watch his puppet video and it has analogies. Like I didn't know at the time. I was so fucking erupt by it, angered by it because I thought he was talking about me and my situation, but he was talking about his orange cat Simon. It's just the dude's I don't know. I don't know why I took him off featured channels off my shit because the way he would fucking describe shit, like I wouldn't do that shit. I mean, I did now with this live stream, but I wouldn't fucking have a puppet show and fucking. I'm not fucking playing with that. Somebody said I played with action figures, and that's not the fucking case. I just had it fucking up there because I didn't have posters to put up because we were at an apartment. I had to lean the shit against the wall like I'm doing now. I'm not sitting there with action figures playing with them and shit. Like it'd be different. Like was it Fireflies? The dude that fucking song where they had like air blimps and shit going and train track. Evan was like that, and I'm not gonna imitate that because I'm over that. But I can animate shit. But I had to go to the restroom on one of those live stream videos without realizing I didn't want to turn it off because if I turn it off, it might glitch. That Cyberpunk game, the differences now on that and then next gen are different. You can get the lizard I took a photograph of at one point in time and have it as your pet. And there's stuff with how you react to people and the decisions that you made. If you had to do extra missions to build up those three boxes that you were able to get an ending where they go raid whatever the fuck organization that fucking had the cyber chip inside the character's noggin. I understand that shit, and I know it's just fucking fiction. It's just sort of this fun like parody of all sorts of other things that you've seen before. I'm just bored, so I just did this because it'd be the four walls. They can't say it's fraud. They don't understand when the person goes through to have all the surgeries. But man, look, like I really did have those surgeries, and they can't go forth and say it's somebody else because they ain't gonna show a mole inside of their face. I know they can't paint that on. It'll smear. I just never understood social media in terms of stuff that what in a given moment somebody could say all sorts of creepy shit without any sort of like anything like fucking like this resources that I had. Like I can use them against them if they fucking try to say something. They have to be fucking not all there themselves. I didn't fart. I just say that and extremely like people that are grotesquely than you are like say I'm not gonna name names, but fucking if you have fucking no idea the streams that people will go to. I am real and I'm not a noob, and I understand that they call you all sorts of. They wouldn't have fucking high scores from Sonic Dash, Gran Turismo, a fucking fighting game on Neo Geo that I didn't know had trophy support, and say they're Cricket Wireless holders, and then saying that shit without realizing that I had a high score on devices that weren't used that had my last name Ortega. I had receipts and I posted on YouTube. That's crazy. I don't go forth and do that crazy shit to people.